Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Labor Day. It's Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with your SouthernIndianaWeather.com daily video forecast. It is about 9:43 a.m. Eastern Time here, and it is Labor Day, the first day of September 2014. Happy meteorological fall, folks. Astronomical fall doesn't happen, I believe, until the 22nd, 23rd, right around in there, but the first day of September in meteorology is the first day of meteorological fall. So we've made it, folks. Summer has ended, and we are hopefully at least on the cool down. And with all the 90s that we have seen, boy, that will be a welcome change to see some cool down. Taking a live look outside the Southern Indiana Weather Office on our Southwest Skycam. You can get this on our website at SouthernIndianaWeather.com. See, it's just a gloomy day, and there are a few showers out in the area as we take a look at a live view here at Sky Tracker HD. A few showers popping up across the area around the Du Bois County, Crawford County, into Spencer and Warwick County, Southern Pike counties, but not much else on radar going on other than that at the particular point in time here. I do expect to see some more storms pop up this afternoon, but I'm only giving it a 30% chance today. The better chances will come tonight. Today's video update is sponsored by Metal Magic in Washington. You can give Chad a call, 698-8555 for all of your paintless dent repair needs. They're a fantastic company. They do a great job, folks. They're PDR Nation certified. And we do have the slight risk of severe weather in the forecast that I'm going to talk about today. So if you have any damage from hail to your vehicles, folks, they are the ones you want to talk to. Be sure you write that number down and tell them that Southern Indiana Weather sent you. All right, now, as I said, not a whole lot going on radar right now, just a few spotty things out there. This afternoon, this is probably what we're going to see, is just a few dots of something here and there today. Not a big threat today, so I think if you're grilling out and doing things, looks like temperatures are going to warm up to the mid-80s today, probably be a healthy mix of sun and clouds. Then, by this evening into the overnight hours, that's whenever our rain chances are really going to start increasing. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has placed us underneath of a slight risk for severe weather today, and it extends here really down into just almost to the Ohio River. And let me pull up another graphic here, and I'll show you that. All right, my apologies, folks. I had to go open up this graphic here, but you can see the slight risk itself does kind of cut almost to the Ohio River. It sort of leaves out some of our counties along the river, but the brown is a marginal risk. So really, we all have the chance of a strong thunderstorm today, but you notice we are on the southern edge of this, and that's because by the time the storms get here, that could have the chance of producing anything decent. It's going to be pretty late in the evening, possibly even into the overnight hours. That lends itself towards a much lower risk for severe weather, because even though this afternoon I think we're going to have decent instability with what little sunshine we'll be able to see today, you know, the reality is by the time the sun does go down and you're getting 10, 11 o'clock at night before storms do end up coming into the area, you've certainly got a much lower risk for severe weather at that time than you do at 5, 6 in the afternoon. But nonetheless, a 15% low-end slight risk for much of us into today. And you can see it extends basically from Evansville metro area, kind of cuts up here into Du Bois and Orange counties over into Jackson counties, and then sort of points off into the north and east from here. So we'll keep an eye on that today. Any watches and warnings that do come out today, folks, they'll automatically post to our Facebook and Twitter accounts. And of course, I'll be monitoring things throughout the day as well and providing updates as necessary. As far as categorical risks, it is a slight risk. Tornado probabilities, you can see, are pretty low, 2%. I'm not expecting I'd be surprised if we see any tornado warnings out of this. It looks more like a wind thing to me, and possibly some hail along with this, as you can see in the probabilities. Now, the better chance is going to come, as I said, later tonight. Here's what we're taking a look here at the bulk shear parameters. And the bulk shear parameters, let me zoom this in so that you can actually see. Bulk shear parameters are one of those things that we look at to help us determine wind energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Here's Indiana. In fact, let me just go ahead and draw it on here for you. So here is the state of Indiana right here. If you're viewing this on a mobile phone or things like that, it can be very hard to see. I realize, and this graphic isn't exactly most friendly to begin with, but it's the best one that I've got. And you can see bulk shear. For this, you really want 35 to 40 units of bulk shear to get organized severe weather. This first light blue shading is the starting of 35 knots. knots of bulk shear. And you can see it's just starting to come into the area. And this is later tonight, by the way. This is an 11 p.m. map tonight. Prior to this, we have very minimal bulk shear going on. So it's primarily, it's going to be this bulk shear is coming in with a cold front that's going to be moving into the area, and a trough of essentially you've got a dip in the jet stream that's kind of going down and producing some bulk shear around with it. As this moves in, our storm chances will certainly increase, and we'll have that risk for severe weather. But again, we're talking about a later at night thing. So because we're talking about something later at night, our risk is going to be much lower than it would have if it was during the dead of the afternoon in the heat of the day. So something we'll keep an eye on, but the risk is certainly there. Let's take a look at future radar. Let me show you two different future radar views, which paint two different pictures on where the storm complex will go, give you an idea of what we're thinking at this point. Here's what the 3.6 kilometer high-res WRF NMM does. And you can see during the afternoon hours today, you've got just a few scattered thunderstorms popping up, but not a whole lot. Here's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and again, a 30% chance of precipitation today. So not everyone is going to get wet, but you should see things light up on radar a good deal of the day. Then as we get into tonight, here's 8 p.m. tonight, and you can see out near St. Louis, you've got this storm system that's out here developing, and you can see there's your cold front. I think your cold front is more actually up here, but you can see storms in advance of the cold front here. As we continue to put this in motion, you can see this storm complex just really blows up. And now watch how the WRF NMM is really taking the focus more towards central Indiana on this. Now we will get in on it, but southern Indiana for the most part doesn't get in on it until Tuesday really. Now if we switch over to the WRF ARW, it's a 4.2 kilometer model, so it's a little bit lower res than what the other one is, but it still does a pretty fantastic job. Overall, both of these are pretty good models. We put this into motion. Again, here you go with a few of those scattered storms today. Maybe not as much as what the NMM is predicting. But again, 20 to 30% coverage today underneath of this. By this evening, here you go. Notice you've got those storm complexes still brewing back in Missouri. It's a little bit different positioning than what you saw on the NMM. And watch how this moves in. But notice it's 1 a.m. Eastern time before it starts to really cross the Wabash River and move into our area. And it's southern Indiana and northern Kentucky is sort of the bullseye. But you notice the color schemes are starting to get lower as the night goes on, and that's because it's a weakening storm system. Well, I mean, by the time it's moving over the majority of the area, you're talking 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning, and our instability, while there will still be some instability at that time because of how hot and muggy it is outside, our instability is going to be much lower than it would be at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So again, is a slight risk for severe weather justified? I think so at this point. We'll just monitor the trends and see how today goes, but it is certainly not a guarantee. Just keep your normal weather radio on today and keep it right here to southern Indiana weather, and we will give you updates throughout the day and let you know what's happening in our latest thinking. Now, everybody wants to know about temperatures because it's been stinking hot, has it not? I'm sick of the 90s. I'm ready for the 90s to be done for the year. If we wouldn't have seen 90 this year, I would have been happy because I'm not a warm lover. The good news is I do see a cool down coming. And here's the latest data from the GFS ensembles, just the raw data. This is not my forecast. This is what one model is saying, but I show it to you because it gives a nice presentation of the next 16 days. You can get at least an idea of the trend that we stay in the mid to upper 80s. It even thinks by Friday we hit 90. I'm not ready to go there yet. I went 88 in my forecast. It's going to be a warm week. Let's not kid ourselves. Outside of the rain chances that we've got today and tomorrow, it's going to be a warming trend, and it's going to be a little bit warmer. But you do notice a very nice cooling trend with this. And what we're going to have essentially is it's not going to be a big dip in the jet stream at this point yet. There are hints that could happen, but it's not overly showing up yet. There are hints around the 10th, 11th that we've got a trough that could be moving in from the west, and that could cool us down. The models aren't fully developing that out yet. But regardless, we've got more of a zonal flow in the jet stream once we get out here. Zonal meaning the winds are flowing from the west to the east. It's just sort of flat. There's no ridges or dips in the jet stream once we get into that extended period. Basically what that means is a more normal type of pattern. And by the time you get out into here, into the mid part of September, close to 80 degrees is our normal temperature. So 78, 81, 83, that's a fairly normal temperature for the mid part of September. So that'll be nice. We'll at least cool down to a more normal type of scheme for us. And we will certainly take it over the 90s that we got. Few more hot days to deal with this week, and then folks, it looks like we got some great weather coming after this. All right, let's take a look at my latest 7-day forecast here. You can always get this by going to southernindianaweather.com, clicking on the forecast button. 86 degrees around the area today. If you're in the Evansville area, you may end up getting closer to 88. It's going to be a little bit warmer down there, maybe 84, 85 around Columbus, but mid to upper 80s across the area today. Again, partly to mostly cloudy skies today, a few thunderstorms, 30% chance today, but later tonight it's going to increase to a 60% chance. We are under that slight risk for severe weather. We will see how that goes and keep you updated throughout the day. Looks like a rainy day at least for portions of tomorrow, and it'll be a mostly cloudy day. That should keep our temperature down into the low 80s. Then again, you see that warming trend though. Isolated rain chances on Wednesday and Thursday, but we're warming up to the mid to upper 80s. Again, upper 80s, possibly near 90 in parts of the area on Friday, but a 40% chance of rain in the afternoon. Next weekend is looking pretty wet to me at this point. Only 80 for your high temperature on Saturday, but a 50% chance of rain. 50% chance of rain again on Sunday, and only 77 for your high. We'll keep an eye on that, but right now it is looking like a pretty wet weekend. But keep in mind we're 6 and 7 days away from that, so most certainly lots could change. All right, folks, I will be here throughout the day to provide updates as anything comes along. And if again, keep it right here to Southern Indiana Weather on Facebook and on Twitter. If storms do fire, we will be here to provide you coverage. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great day, folks. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.